The news stunned the Catholic world this Easter Monday, one day after the Pope greeted supporters from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to celebrate Easter services. The Vatican says Pope Francis died from a stroke followed by heart failure. He battled a series of health challenges in recent years, including his recent hospitalization for double pneumonia. The Pope continued to hold engagements, including on Easter Sunday, when he met briefly with Vice President J.D. Vance. Francis gave the traditional Easter blessing from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, although an aide read it on his behalf. Pope Francis was the first Latin American pontiff. His papal name, Francis, was chosen in honor of the Saint of the Poor.
He wanted the poor church. He wanted to reach out to the last of the last. Not politicians, not leaders, just the people, especially the people who had nothing, and perhaps the most important that they had was faith.
Pope Francis was known to be a fan of pizza and wine, but he was never seen shopping for either of those. There is a large number of Catholic faithful right here in southern Colorado, and word of the Pope's passing motivated many to honor him. Our Bill Folsom went to St. Mary's Cathedral in Colorado Springs for reaction.
Extra people and added prayers at the regularly scheduled Mass here at St. Mary's Cathedral. People coming to recognize the passing of the Pope. A Mass on Easter Monday at St. Mary's Cathedral with an unanticipated element of pondering the death of Pope Francis.
Well, it was sudden news, wasn't it? It was very sudden.
Yeah, we didn't expect it. He had been slowly recovering.
Just a day earlier, the Pope was well enough to appear at St. Peter's Square for Easter Sunday. His followers are also well aware of his ongoing health issues.
There is a bit of comfort to believe that, okay, he can now rest. He did his job, and he worked hard at it.
Cameras were left off inside of St. Mary's Cathedral to allow people to worship privately. Before and after the Mass, many were happy to talk about the Pope and his influence.
I think the thing that I appreciated about Pope Francis the most was he was very much the poor man's Pope.
He was faithful, he cares about the poor, he cares about the disenfranchised. So we need more leaders like him.
Numbers for the Monday Mass higher than usual, a nod to the legacy of Pope Francis.
This is where people come, this is our faith, and this is where we find comfort.
I'm just here today. I'm going to spend a few hours in front of the Blessed Sacrament to pray for him and attend the noon Mass.
In the tradition of faith, the prayers for the Pope were less about him being gone and more about his spirit finding peace as it moves on. In Colorado Springs, Bill Folsom, News 5.
Bill, thank you. Parishioners at the Cathedral of the Sacred Heart in Pueblo also gathered to honor the Pope today. They talked with us about what Pope Francis means to them.
I thought he was a terrific Pope. I really appreciate the way that he looked after the poor and the migrants.
He focused on those individuals of the Catholic faith and around the world that suffered from poverty, and he focused on social injustice in the world.